For the longest time now, the whale shark has been the largest shark in the world, growing to as large as 18 meters or approximately 60 feet. However, before it, there was another king of the sharks, which was the famous Megalodon. Some of you might know it as the Meg, and if you have watched the film The Meg, then you might have a rough idea of how large it actually is. There is so much to know about the Meg, given its enormous size and power. And with them becoming extinct 3.6 million years ago, all we have are fossils to learn more about them. On the other hand, some people claim that the Megalodon is still alive. There have been reports of sightings of the Megalodon in the oceans. Moreover, some people believe that it is still alive, considering the fact that scientists have not yet explored most of the ocean. But how true could this be? Could the Megalodon be alive? Why do people think it is? All these are questions that we will try to answer in this video. Without further ado, let's get started. If Megalodons were to exist in this modern day and age, it would be a nightmare to even walk close to the shores. And the thought that they still exist in the deepest part of the ocean is already frightening as it is. But what exactly are these creatures about? The word Megalodon comes from two Greek words, megalos and odon. These two words literally mean big tooth. For those of you who have read some history about ancient creatures such as dinosaurs and megafauna, you have probably seen a few names with odon at the end. This is because this was a very common name for these creatures. The shape and size of the teeth found with a particular fossil might have been some of the easiest ways to tell them apart quickly. After all, they all had larger than normal teeth. For some species, the teeth are the only thing that has been found. And if not that, then they are the only thing scientists have been able to categorize for a long time. To understand the impact that teeth had in categorizing these animals, look at the Anodontosaurus. This was a dinosaur that was misnamed because scientists hadn't found its teeth. During the early and middle parts of an era known as the Miocene epoch, which is between 23 million and 5.3 million years ago, there were large seaways that separated North America from South America and Europe and Asia from Africa and the Middle East. These most likely facilitated the movement from one ocean basin to another. Throughout this era, Megalodon distribution continued to expand from pockets found in the Caribbean and Mediterranean seas, in the Bay of Bengal, and along the coasts of California and southern Australia. With this, they moved and started occupying some waters off the coasts of northern Europe, South America, southern Africa, New Zealand, and East Asia. However, by the time we were getting to the Pliocene epoch period, which is about 258 million years ago, Megalodon's population had greatly gone down. And by the end of the epoch, there were no more Megalodon sharks. To date, there has never been a larger fish than the Megalodon. This is a designation that is based on the discoveries of hundreds of fossil teeth, 2 vertebral columns, and a handful of individual vertebrae. However, when the structure and shape of the Megalodon's teeth are compared to those of the great white sharks, they are pretty similar. This has led scientists to believe that these two are related in some way, and with that, they have claimed that the Megalodon likely looked similar to the great white sharks in regards to appearance. We are talking of a bulky torpedo-shaped fish with a conical snout, large pectoral and dorsal fins, and a strong crescent-shaped tail. When it comes to body length, the estimates are calculated using the statistical relationship between the size of Megalodon's fossil teeth and the teeth and body mass of modern white sharks and other living relatives. With these calculations, it has been estimated that a mature adult Megalodon had a mean length of about 33.5 feet, with the largest measuring about 58.7 feet. On the other hand, some scientists have claimed that the largest forms may have even measured up to 82 feet long. Scientists have even gone further to estimate the adult body mass, claiming that it ranged from about 30 metric tons to more than 65 metric tons. They also concluded that adult females were larger in both length and mass than adult males. The Megalodon teeth are pretty similar to those of modern white sharks in structure. They all have the same triangular, serrated, and symmetrical structure. The only differences that the megalodon teeth have from those of the white sharks are that they are larger and thicker. The serrations on each tooth occur at regular intervals, and they possess a bourlette, which is a darker, chevron-shaped region near the tooth's root. The largest tooth of the megalodon to ever be collected measures 6.9 inches in length. This is 3 times longer than those of modern white sharks, which are about 2.1 inches long. And given the size of its teeth, it goes without saying that Megalodon had a very ferocious bite. After all, when you look at the jaws that have been found on this great shark, you will see that it has a bite diameter of about 9.8 feet, which is way bigger than the diameter of average-sized white sharks. When it comes to maintaining its temperature, it is believed that the Megalodon did this in a similar way as the modern white sharks. This is because it was not really cold-blooded like other fish. White sharks generate some heat through the contraction of their swimming muscles. This heat then raises the temperature of parts of the shark's body above that of the surrounding water. This is an adaptation known as regional endothermy, and it is a type of warm-bloodedness. The Megalodon might have also been using this same adaptation, allowing it to swim and hunt even in cold waters. This would have meant that it had exclusive access to prey, no matter where it was. With this in mind, the Megalodon might have been the largest marine predator that has ever lived. It was definitely an apex predator, or top carnivore, in the marine environments that it inhabited. Because of this, it preyed on fish, baleen whales, toothed whales, sirenians, and seals. As for the young Megalodons, they probably went for the smaller prey, such as the young whales, while the adults went for the larger whales. There is a very high likelihood that, given the size of the mature Megalodons, they never had any predators. However, the same cannot be said about the newly born and juvenile individuals who may have been vulnerable to other large predatory sharks, such as the great hammerhead sharks. Now, we need to understand that over the past few years, scientists have gone on to explore the deeper parts of the ocean, and what they have discovered here is pretty fascinating. So far, the deepest part of the ocean that scientists have discovered is the Mariana Trench. The one being speculated still holds the Megalodon. It was discovered in 1875 by the British ship HMS Challenger, making it one of the most fascinating mysteries to scientists to date. We are talking about going downward for more than 1,500 miles in a trench that is about 40 miles wide. And even more shocking about this trench is that, even at its deepest point, it is almost 7 miles down to the bottom. To understand how deep we are talking, if you took Mount Everest and dropped it in the Mariana Trench, you would still have to swim down about a mile before you could reach the peak of the mountain. So far, there are only 2 people who have managed to reach the deepest portion of the trench, but they had to use specialized equipment to withstand the immense pressure and cold. However, the entire voyage took about 5 hours. The bottom of the trench is so far down, with absolutely no sunlight getting there. The temperature here is also a few degrees above freezing. As for the pressure, the vast weight of the water pressing in from all sides amounts to more than 1,000 times the atmospheric pressure at sea level. Surprisingly, those who have explored these parts of the water have come across microbial life, as well as some species of fish and other marine organisms that survive at these depths. Unfortunately, there were also human pollutants here, such as microplastics, candy wrappers, traces of pesticides banned in the 1970s, and higher than normal radioactivity from Pacific nuclear tests. The theory that there are megalodons in these deep parts of the water has been going on for a while, with people claiming that scientists have yet to explore every part of the ocean. But could megalodons really survive here? The answer is a definite no, and here's why. Megalodons were warm water creatures. In fact, paleontologists believe that a cooling period that froze the ocean in areas where megalodon pups matured may have been the reason behind the drop in their population. Even though they had a way to generate heat and go to the cold waters, the deep ocean was simply too cold for them to survive. So, Even the theory that there may be one or two megalodons here is false. Another reason that megalodons cannot be found here is that they were extremely large animals that ate other extremely large animals. Because of this, nothing big enough or numerous enough to sustain them is found in the Mariana Trench. Not only that, but let's assume that they lived here and only left to hunt whales and other large animals, then went back to hide here. If this were the case, there would be evidence of it in bite marks on whales and other large animals, as well as thousands of freshly lost megalodon teeth on the ocean floor. We already know that Megalodon became extinct about 2.6 million years ago, when the planet entered a phase of global cooling. However, there is no knowledge of when the last Megalodon died, but new evidence has suggested that it was at least 3.6 million years ago. According to scientists, up to a third of all large marine animals, including 43% of turtles and 35% of seabirds, became extinct as temperatures cooled and the number of organisms at the base of the food chain went down. This eventually resulted in a knock-on effect on the predators at the top. It might have been this cooling of the planet that led to the extinction of the Megalodon in several ways. Given that the adult sharks were dependent on tropical waters, the drop in ocean temperatures most likely resulted in a significant loss of habitat. This might have also led to the Megalodon's main prey either going extinct or adapting to the cooler waters where the Megalodon could not reach, and eventually, lacking a source of food, the Megalodon went extinct. So, is the Megalodon alive? I don't think so. But we'd like to know what you think about that, so feel free to share your thoughts on that in the comments below. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.